Hi all, and welcome to another lesson on falsification. In lesson 13 we discussed the importance of falsification in chess. Simply put, falsification is the technique of first trying to refute your own move and then that of your opponent when calculating lines. If you can refute your move, then that says something about the value of the candidate move at hand. If you like, just review lesson 13 for the whole introduction. Now in this lesson I want you to practice a little bit with this new notion of falsification. Chess players often do not realize that falsification is a very useful tool when it comes to making a decision between two or more candidate moves, or snapping out of a certain mindset. Now with this I'm referring to a mindset you are probably very familiar with, that of fantasizing or maybe doubting, philosophizing or dreaming about a position, because falsification forces you to make things concrete. Especially positionally oriented players will find this helpful. Falsification can be like a wake-up call. Okay, you are going to see 10 training positions, and in every one I'm going to suggest 2 moves for the side that it is to turn, that is move it is. We're not going to bother now with the question if these moves are exactly what the position requires, but they are taken from real life games and reflect practical positions and problems. Your task is to decide which move to play. Use falsification with both candidates. Okay, you know the drill. Pause the video after each introduction of the training position, and then I will be back after 3 seconds to compare answers. Good luck! Okay, now in this position it is white to move. I'm going to suggest that you pick one of 2 moves, either knight b1 to c3 to further pressure the center, most notably the square on d5, or you're going to opt for c4 takes d5. Right? Now, c takes d5 of course allows black to recapture with either maybe pawn or knight or bishop, and you could think maybe I'm giving up the tension in the center too early. On the other hand, knight b1 to c3 finishes your development. It also connects your heavy pieces on the first rank. So these are some general considerations that may also, and let this be a hint, fall into the category of fantasizing or dreaming or philosophizing about the position. Okay, pause the video. I will be back after 3 seconds. Well, actually this position was taken from a real over-the-board game that I played, and in the game my opponent played knight c3. But this is wrong. He simply did not try and falsify his move before he executed it, because probably you've seen what's wrong with it, and all of a sudden things become very concrete, right? d4, attacking this piece. Okay, well, maybe this piece has to move. But if the piece moves, then of course d4, d3 locks in the bishop on e2 and wins a whole piece, right? So here the truth sank in, and my opponent opted for queen c2, just giving up this piece here so that at least he can now regain this pawn with bishop takes c3. But after knight e4, it took me some while, because white has a nice connected pawn phalanx and he can push some pawns in the center. But of course, with the extra piece, I managed to win the game, right? So, if we go back to the beginning, the better move here is c4 takes d5, right? And then only maybe later knight c3. And we've also seen that such deliberations like, well, maybe if I take on d5 with my c-pawn, I'm giving up the pressure too early. And with knight c3, at least I develop my pieces and I still keep the options open, or maybe take